Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Laura. I'm the founder and editor of The Happy Hood. Hopefully, we are live. If there is anyone watching and you'd like to drop a little message just to let me know that we're actually live, please do. That would be helpful. Welcome to issue 13 launch. We're doing it this way again. Annoyingly, I was really pleased that we were able to get so many people involved in the live stream so far, and it's been really fun to give people an opportunity to talk and find out about them. So, you know, we've got to roll with the times and just do it like this again. But hopefully, for issue 14, we'll be able to have a face-to-face event. I'm really hopeful that that will actually happen. So just a couple of things to say up top. So issue 13 is here. Well, we can't see it very well because of the sun. Well, there you go. Yay. Issue 13 is here. It has been posted out to subscribers yesterday. It will be in stockists from Monday. And we're really excited. If you haven't subscribed already and you'd like to, please head to thehappyhood.com. I want to say a huge thank you to Alex Salter, our graphic designer, who works tirelessly to put all of the artwork and the contributions together, and also to Kim and the team at Cool Quick for printing the zine and just being awesome. So in today's show, we're going to have a chat with a variety of folk. First up, actually, we've got one of our lovely stockists. We've never had a stockist on the live stream before, so I figured it was only time that we should do that. So I'd like to welcome you to lovely Bing from Matchbox Cafe.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, you're right.
Hey, how are you?
We're a bit delayed, I think, on the internet front. I'm good, thank you. I'm
good.
So Bing, tell us a little bit about yourself and your cafe.
Okay, I am Bing. I am Matchbox Cafe, part of one of two of us. So the lovely Yasmin can't unfortunately be with us anyway. She's having internet issues and lots of other things happening that's going on in her own personal life. So unfortunately, I've been the face to being put myself forward anyway. So literally about a few days ago, about less than a week, it was our third birthday. So unfortunately, this is our second birthday we've missed out on to sort of celebrate it. Unfortunately, we missed out on a second birthday and our third birthday due to lockdown reasons anyway. So unfortunately, we're still closed. It's a bit of a nightmare. So, but otherwise, I mean, if you know Matchbox, a lot of people have heard about Matchbox. Some of us still yet to find Matchbox, which is a bit of a nightmare. So hopefully we can try and remedy that in due time and give a bit more publicity and a bit more signage, something to sort of say where we are, because a lot of people want to come and see us. We have a lot of love and support for us. I'm just loving the whole fact that, yeah, there's a lot of people that just want us to be open, but unfortunately, due to lockdown reasons, it's not beneficial for us to be open.
So where are you, Bing? Describe to us.
As in where am I currently, or where am I as in the business sense?
Where's the
okay,
cafe?
So the cafe is, as we know where Abington Street is, or majority of people know where Abington Street is, the main high street of the town centre. Unfortunately, for where prominent locations of buildings and iconic buildings and locations of shops, the big key ones have disappeared one by one over the past few years. It's really annoying. So the biggest key one would have been the old M&S building on the corner of Abington Street to Wellington Street. So if you know roughly where that is, you're literally in spitting distance of the cafe. So the only other alternative that I can think of would be the H&M shop or Greg's up Abington Street. If you're close by to that, just follow the road that goes the one-way system. The road goes around the corner, as in it goes up a slight hill. We're just up there. You can't really miss us. There will be a lovely A-board. There's a lovely little protruding signage. It's pretty much brightly lit. It's just a nice, vibrant colour. It's just, you can't really fail not to see us. I don't understand why people haven't found us yet. So it's frustrating.
Well, we will definitely be hunting you out, and I hope that everybody watching on the live stream comes and says hello. When will you be opening up again?
There's a lot of reasons. we're currently closed. Unfortunately, for the takeaway aspects of the business is not really predominant in our business plan anyway, in our business model. It doesn't really work well for us. We don't gain enough people for takeaway. So the time we're actually going to open up now will be on the week commencing of the 17th of May in 2021. So unfortunately that lands on a Monday, but we currently close on a Monday. So the earliest date will be open on will be the May the 18th on a Tuesday, give or take about 10 a.m. Yeah, hopefully.
Sounds good. And if people come along to the cafe, what kind of things are you serving? What's on your menu?
Okay, so from the cafe, we do a variety of meals and dishes and such likes anyway. So we have the usual breakfast items, a big breakfast, a matchbox breakfast, bacon rolls, sausage rolls, a breakfast bap, so that's literally bacon, sausage and egg. For the vegetarians, we can do like avocados and halloumi. I think there's a few new menu ideas on the horizon to be introduced as well. The idea of vegan cheese, I think the word sort of slipped through my mind, that could make an appearance on our menu. So we should wait and see. So other than that, we are trying to expand on the vegetarian and vegan sides of things. Obviously, we can't do it to the standards what most people expect. We do try our best to make sure that we do try and cater for everyone's needs and possibilities of what they like and what they would like to see on the menu.
And what would you say your speciality is?
Okay, speciality is apart from our breakfasts, which are sort of renowned for what good value, good quality for what they are, and it's good price for what it is. Our infamous bread pudding seems to make a huge hit for what it is. So if people like bread pudding, it's a huge hit. I can't understand what. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm very humbled by it. It's a case of. I think the most we've ever sold is like 70 portions in 1 week, which is kind of scary because I don't understand why. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I like the aspects of that. Yeah, I mean, that's a few main things that we sell a lot of. But then we do have lots of treats inside as well. So, I mean, we do lovely and support the great Brooklyn brownies as well. So they're sort of give them a quick shout out for them. We do supply and stock their brownies as well for him. Other than that, so between those few items and Yasmin's creative hot drinks. So I honestly haven't got a clue. Drink side isn't my forte. I'm more of the cooking side as opposed to the drinking side. So I mean, Yasmin does come up with some weird and wonderful creations of drinks. She likes to take ideas of the big chain names ideas and recreate it in her own unique way. So you have been warned. I have no clue what goes into some drinks or how it gets recreated. I just get told what it is. Hopefully I can remember and hopefully I can recreate it. I get it wrong most of the time, but I mean, I'll give Yasmin her grace. I mean, she does do a fantastic job for that. I mean, she does need credit for where credit's due. I mean, yes, so.
Definitely. And a big shout out to Yasmin. And hopefully in one of the future live streams, we can have Yasmin to come and talk to us as well. So hello, Yasmin.
She loves to come on.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about being... Yeah, definitely. Fingers crossed she can. I wanted to talk to you being a little bit about being a stockist of the Happy Hood. So like what made you guys get involved and what's it like for you?
It was literally a case of trying to find something local to the town centre. So, I mean, so the business model of what we've got for the cafe is that we're trying to use as lots of local stockists as possible. So we can't really get away from the chains, unfortunately, anyway. So any type of local stockists that we can find, we try and help and support them. So be it if they can help us or we can help them. So I've already mentioned Brooklyn brownies already. I've mentioned it right, otherwise you'll kill me. Another local business that we support, it will be The Good Life. So Susie and all the team at The Good Life, big shout out to them. I mean, great support for them. They are super busy at the moment. I mean, love and respect for all what that they do. Another local business that we support as well is Yellow Bourbon as well. So we get our lovely coffee beans from them. So, yep, give them a quick shout out to Steve and the crew down there. Other than that, I mean, so once we heard about the Happy Hood and what the Happy Hood was about, so talking about the town centre and the positivity of what the town can bring. I mean, there's a lot of negativity from businesses. I won't say from businesses, sorry, from personal people's views of the town centre. We need to give them a bit of an idea exactly what the town entails. So despite there's a lot of negativity towards town centre, I try to sort of tell them that it's not about negativity. There is a lot of positive things around the town. So be it with the Happy Hood, they sort of managed to find people who can talk about the town in unique ways, aspects we may not understand and may not sort of see. So we have lots of bloggers around the town who go around and talk about it, which is great. But actually to physically read about what's actually going on in the town and see visualizations of creations around the town of someone's house of had painted, e.g. yours, Laura. I mean, that's unique for what it is. So I mean, trying to give recognition to other people's as well. It's a case of that's great. So it just shows that there is a lot of sort of love and support for the town, despite people's negativity. But we try to sort of enforce that. So yes, there is lots going on around town. Please come and sort of support the town. It's not just about Matchbox ourselves anyway. It's about supporting all the other lots of small businesses around the town. So I mean, I'm not going to shout at all the small businesses around the town. There's just far too many, and I'm sure I'm going to miss a lot of people off. I'm not even going to go down that avenue. But there's a lot of small businesses, despite people think, oh, we've lost out with X, Y, and Z names of businesses. So be it M&S, be it BHS, potentially Debenhams, but we're not sure about that one yet still anyway. So we have to wait to see what happens with that. There's a few of the big names that disappeared. Forget about the big names. The small businesses do just as much. They may not have all the right sizes and uniqueness of what you're looking for, but they're looking out for your help and support. So give them support, regardless of what it is. So be it shopping in their business online and get it delivered to them from them quickly as much as any other sort of big brand names as well that you can get a home delivery for next day service. They do just as good service as well. So the small businesses are competing with the big boys as well. So yeah, so the Happy Hood does bring a lot of sort of support and positivity from that as well. And it's just unique as exactly what you can find around town. There's a lot of things around the town that we just don't get to see. And I mean, there's so much time in the day that we don't have enough of. And it's nice to sort of, instead of we don't have time to go look at said venue, place, whatever, but we can read about it from someone else's perspective and sort of see what it's about. That's great to hear and great to read. So, yes.
Yay! And you also you've donated a lot of copies. So during lockdown, when you've been closed, you've been buying your normal allocation of zines and allowing us to donate them to people who might need them. So for issue 12, they went to the Lewis Foundation in care packs for cancer patients. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you for doing that, because, you know, the fact that you're closed and, you know, it's hard times for everyone, but the fact that you still wanted to support the zine, which is a community project, it's not for profit, and allow us to spread a bit of positivity to people who need it. I'm just really grateful. I wanted to say a massive thank you for that.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's great. Despite we may not have to stock it and may have to sell it permanently to us from ourselves, it's great to give you the support still anyway and get you to share the rest of the positivity to others who may need it just as much as we want to sell it as well. So either way, it's still good for supporting the Happy Hood.
You're an angel, Bing. You're an angel. Thank you.
That's quite all right.
So where can people connect with you on social media then? Because you're quite active on Twitter and stuff, aren't you? So where can we find you?
Okay, so on social media platforms, we're on the main big key free platforms, so be it Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you search for variations of Matchbox Cafe Northampton in weird and wonderful ways, a bit Cafe Matchbox Cafe. I can't remember the order of it. I know what it is, but just come look for Matchbox Cafe. You're bound to find us anyway. We're kind of unique. Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of love for support over there anyway. I mean, bless Yasmin. I mean, she does the social side of it more than what I do sometimes, because I just really can't. It overwhelms me to a point where I've got so much to get on with myself personally. I just don't get time to sort of get on there to sort of put myself out there. So when I do, it's great to sort of people to sort of see and talk about me anyway. So no, we're on the big free key sites anyway. So come and find us. Come and give us support. We're happy to help. We're happy to listen. Whatever, good, bad, negative, positive, anything you want to shout at us, we'll listen to you regardless. So it's not about me and Yasmin. It's about the business. So we're happy to listen to whatever you guys got to say, and we'll try and implement and support whatever happens and whatever comes out from it. So it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, you are an absolute angel. And what I really like about your social media is that you're always supporting other businesses in Northampton. You're always promoting them and shouting about them. In fact, you are probably, as a business, the most supportive of other businesses, and you know, you really promote other people as well. So I just love to see that. I think it's such a lovely thing. So well done to Yasmin and yourself, because it just feels really good whenever I see a tweet from you. I'm like, oh, look, they're supporting other people.
I mean, in the past, people have actually said that we're actually trendsetters for news and ideas and support and for love for other people anyway. I mean, we are at the cutting edge to a degree of all new news that happens around the town, new ideas, new businesses, whatever it may be. I mean, we tend to find the obscure little things and push it out there for the sake of, come and give these guys support. Either if it's a big name, if it's a new business just started up, whatever it is, if it's something that we've eaten locally anyway, we'll give them a quick shout out. I mean, it's no harm in giving them a quick shout out. I mean, tonight's dinner, I have no clue yet. So you have been warned, whoever's going to get my business, I don't know what I'm going to eat yet, but I'll give them a quick shout out tonight about what my dinner is tonight. So.
Well, I mean, I would definitely, I'd definitely go for Bad Boy Vegan, but I'm not sure if they're open at the moment. But they are delicious. They're one of my faves at the moment.
Okay. Well, I had a 5 lads last week, and that was kind of good. I was actually really surprised by it. So, I mean, I did try the big chain version of it, and I wasn't impressed with that. So these guys actually know what they're doing. It actually tastes a lot nicer. So yeah, a quick shout out to the 5 lads down in Bridge Street, from rightly. Yep. Thank you.
I'll have to give them a go. That sounds good. I think I've lost you now, Bing. But thank you so much, because I know you've got to get on with fixing your kitchen. So I will allow you to go and hammer and drill and do whatever
you need
to do. Thank you so much for joining us
today. No worries.
Thank
you, Liz.
You're an angel.
Hope to see you soon.
See you soon. Oh, lovely Bing. Oh, it's so lovely to speak to one of our stockists. We don't always get an opportunity to, because they're so busy. The local businesses are just so busy behind the scenes and stuff. So thanks to Bing, and really lovely to speak to him. And we've had a couple of comments. So Aaron says, great to hear from you, Bing. One of those emojis. And Alex Salter, our lovely graphic designer, is watching. Go and follow Alex on @DuckEggPrints on Instagram. He's fantastic. So thank you very much. Next up, I'm going to bring in Billy. Now, Billy was with us last launch, I think. And we didn't get enough of Billy, so Billy's back. I also have waiting in the wings, lovely Trey, who's one of our contributors. Can't see him on screen, so I'm not going to bring him in just yet. But Trey, if you're there, turn your mic on and your camera on, and I'll know that you're ready. Oh, he's there. Okay, cool. I'm going to bring them both in. So welcome, please, Trey and Billy. Hi. How are you both?
Good. You didn't get rid of me that easily. I'm back.
No, like literally again. So my internet's really slow, so apologies. You'll have to bear with me.
It's a bit like being on
but we'll
Poppers,
get there
really,
in the end. Trey, did you want to introduce? I mean, I wouldn't know. You
know what they say: 2 hits and anything fits. I can't believe I just said that.
I mean, sure, it's 3 p.m, Billy. Let's keep it clean. Trey, would you like to introduce yourself to the viewing public?
Yeah, I'm Trey, and local writer and spoken word artist in the community. And I sometimes go and do Black History sessions and education-based stuff about race and that sort of thing. And that's basically the short version, because I know I don't want to take people. I don't want to be rambling on for ages. So yeah, that's me.
No, give me the long version, Trey. I want to know everything.
I started a master's as well during lockdown. September last year, I started a master's in race and education, and decolonial thought. So all the stuff that schools are going on about with decolonizing the curriculum, I'm basically doing a master's in it because I thought it would be an interesting thing to do, essentially. So yeah, I started that in September. That's with Leeds Beckett online. And hopefully I get to visit. I've not actually been to the university yet, so hopefully I get to visit the university before this September, where I hand in my dissertation, which I've started doing my dissertation now as well. So 16,000 words is killing me off slowly. So, but yeah, that's me. I do quite a lot of different types of things, but mainly education-based stuff and poetry, art, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, is that enough?
Okay.
Or do you
do
more?
Loads of stuff, which we will talk about.
Yeah.
But that's enough for now. But I'm going to come back to some of the stuff. Billy, just in case anyone didn't watch the last stream and episode, tell us about yourself in a really PG. It's 20 past 3 way.
PG and Billy do not mix, but for the sake of your audience, I'm a local artist from Northampton. I'm also doing a master's in marketing because I'm trying to learn how to sell myself. Stop it. But I also like to go around clubs. I do a lot of performances, especially in things like the Boston. I've performed at the uni doing drag shows. But I also do drawings and paint and just be an absolute weirdo.
No, you're not a weirdo, Billy. We're all weird.
Exactly. What is normal? Ooh, we could do a dissertation on that.
Well, I mean, clearly both of you have got a lot of time on your hands, so you might as well just work on that as a project as well. So issue 13, which is out now. Oh, you can't really see it very well. There we go. Yay. Tell us a little bit about your contribution to issue 13. Let's start with Trey.
I wrote an article on, I think I wrote about navigating racism and dyspraxia. And I was diagnosed with a neurodivergent condition called dyspraxia when I was 9 years old or so. And I think that's what I wrote about. And it's basically part of the neurodiverse family, which also includes stuff like autism and dyslexia, and dyscalculia, and all those sorts of things. And I write about how disability can compound violence when that person is also not racialized as white at the same time. So disability can have racist components to it, and racism can have ableist components to it, and how those isms sort of work together and when it's against people of color, it makes disability whole numbers worse than it does when it's to a white person, because when someone's white, their race is not the thing being attacked, essentially. So that's what I wrote about from a personal perspective of growing up with a disability like dyspraxia, and also being a person of color in society as well.
And can you tell us a little bit about what being dyspraxic means to you?
It makes a lot of things more difficult. So stuff like social interactions and that sort of thing. It has quite a number of similarities with autism, but at the same time, I tend to compare it to a glitch between memory and action. So it's not the doing that's difficult, nor is it the thinking that's difficult. It's the bit between the thinking and the doing, and sometimes you can get stuck in between those things. So as a child, things like handwriting were really difficult. Physical coordination was really difficult. It's by some miracle I play cricket as well as I do, because hand-to-eye coordination and sports like that were very difficult as a child because of dyspraxia, and somehow I overcame it, and I learned how to bowl properly, overarm action with cricket, and I also learned how to play chess as a child as well. So picking up small objects like chess pieces was really difficult. So any of that sort of stuff, I still find it really hard. So pressing buttons, like I worked at the university last year or the year before last year, where you have lifts and stuff and barriers and anything like that. It impacts the coordination between the mind and the doing, essentially. And that's really the short version of it. Because to explain it properly, I would need a lot more time, I think, to go through it. But yeah, that's basically it.
And I'm guessing it's quite. I'm guessing it's quite different for everyone as well, Trey. So,
yeah.
So your experience might be really different to somebody else's with dyspraxia.
Yeah, I mean, like any disability, I'm not sure any person with the same disability will experience it the same. So how I experience it might not be how other people experience it. But yeah, that's diversity in a way. I think that's to put everyone, even with the same disability, into the same sort of experience. I think is neglecting the human experience in itself, because no one's life is the same. So how can having the same disability impact the same people the same ways when everyone's lives are so different?
Well said, Trey. Well said. And just one final question about your contribution for this issue. What made you want to write about that as a subject, and why did you think the readers might be interested?
I mean, most people in Northampton, I think, know me from my poetry work, and also know me from my discussions and stuff about race and facilitating those discussions. I think people would want to know about this because it's not something I've really talked about. People that do know are the ones that need to know, basically, about that disability. But I think dyspraxia in itself is not really one that's talked about as much when it comes to neurodiverse conditions. I think more awareness needs to be raised to it. So I wrote that article basically just to get people to think about it a bit more. And hopefully some people who have dyspraxia might feel they want to talk about it as well. So yeah, that's basically why I write about it, and through the lens of someone that isn't white as well. Because I think when it comes to disability in media, it is very much whitewashed in terms of the experiences of that. So yeah, that's basically why I wrote it. Yeah,
Thank
you still there, Laura?
Billy, I'm still here. Billy, what did you contribute to this issue?
So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm a local artist, and basically I've embarked on a project over lockdown. I noticed that a lot of people are quite busy in their lives. They don't really take a lot of time to just be in the present and just relax. So I've started this new style called oNNline drawings, and essentially what it is I'll put my pen on the paper and I will not lift the pen until I finish the drawing. It's actually really difficult, but basically what I like to do is strip everything back from all of its, finesse and details and just give it its core. So an example is here. So it's just literally one line. I normally start from the top somewhere and then it finishes wherever. But I just wanted to raise a bit of awareness towards them because I have started selling them. As a master's student and with lockdown, I haven't had that much income. So I thought, well, let's make it a bit of a passion project. So essentially the article is just raising awareness towards that, my little style, because, I'm very stylish. But I sell them all for £30 each. They're all A4. All people need to do is go onto my Instagram. It's Billy Little with an underscore between each word. And then DM me with a picture they'd like me to do, along with their address details, and then they'll get it in 1 to 2 weeks. Lovely and framed. I would kiss it, but I got black lipstick on. I charge extra for that, £10 per kiss.
Well worth it, Billy. Well worth it. And what got you into artwork then, Billy?
Oh my gosh, I've been into art since I was a fetus. I mean, literally. I've always been a massive gamer, bit of a gamer girl. And as a kid, I used to recreate or make my own levels for games, and I'd draw them, or I'd make my own video game villains or something. It was always villains, never heroes. What does that say about me? But as I got older, started doing more and more things, did art in my A levels. Then I kind of stopped it for a bit. And then obviously with Poo Down that's just happened, what is this, number 3? I thought, well, let's get back into this. And I came across this little style, one-line art, and Bob's your uncle. 6 months later, I'm selling them.
Good for you.
Mm.
Good for
And
you.
I need a haircut. I need the money. Come on, these have gone beyond student ends. These are divorce ends.
You look beautiful.
Sorry, I just massively interrupted you then. So sorry.
It's my internet. I'm really sorry. I've got a vendetta against TalkTalk at the moment. So apologies to everyone watching this. It's all TalkTalk's problem.
Damn TalkTalk.
Oh, I've lost you. Come back.
I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, don't TalkTalk. Yay. Sorry, it's me. It's not you, it's me. So what made you want to get involved in the Happy Hood then, Billy?
Well, I was involved in it last month and I had such a whale of a time with you. I thought, let's do it again. I've still got more to give, whether people want that or not. I've still got more. So I thought, well, let's get in touch. Let's see if I can get something else going. And I'm back. I'm a bit like a rash. You just can't get rid of me and there's no ointment.
Oh, and Trey, you've been involved like quite a few times now, haven't you? You're a veteran in Happy Hood terms. What other stuff have you written about over the last 3 years?
With in general, or just Happy Hood?
Well, let's start with Happy Hood and then hear about your in general stuff.
I think the last article I wrote for Happy Hood was on protesting, I think. And I basically replying to the comments that people had made about the nature of protest and how the Black Lives Matter protests happened in the way they did. And I think some people didn't like it. In some cases, it had gotten violent. And they basically said that you can't protest like this. You have to protest like that, essentially. So I basically wrote a reply to that in 300 words, which I'm quite surprised I've managed to do, actually, to get it within the word count for Happy Hood, saying that when we think about protest, historically, we wouldn't have half of the stuff that we have today without protests, and how in some cases those protests turned violent. So one example would be 8-hour work days, for example, as a product of workers' rights and unionizing, essentially. And we wouldn't have that, what we have today. Women's rights, the women's right to vote, came out of protesting. And in some of those cases, it got violent too, with clashes with the police and so forth. Pride was originally in response to police hostility to gay people, essentially. The Stonewall riots of '69, again, police brutality against LGBT and or trans, specifically trans communities. So when it comes to protest, I'm not sure anyone's in any position to tell us that you can't protest in this way, because it's not the right way, because we wouldn't have half the stuff we have today without people literally putting their bodies in the way for people's right to exist and live, essentially. And in my own experience, well, in experience of my family members and whatnot, and ancestors, I am a product of anti-slavery movements and anti-colonial resistance in this country, but also in the colonies as well, in Jamaica and Grenada, where my grandparents are from. So, yeah, protesting. No one's in a position to tell us how to protest or what to protest, and following Priti Patel's Kill the Bill, that makes it even more important that people have that right and to protest how they want and when they want. So yeah, that's as much as I'll say on that. And if you want to see the article, you can just buy the Happy Hood article, buy the Happy Hood magazine that it was in. I think it was which issue was it? If you can remember, Laura. I think it was like
I'll
it might have
find
been
out
August,
after.
September. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. My brain is mush today after running around and trying to get ready for this live stream and all that kind of stuff. So apologies, but it was probably in issue 11 or 12.
Yeah, something like that.
Thanks, Trey. What? I think it's something like that, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What other writing have you done? Because you've written for like the Guardian and stuff.
I didn't write for the Guardian. I was interviewed by the Guardian following the murder of George Floyd, and the first article that I was part of was I was one of 50 perspectives on Black Lives Matter, and they interviewed people from across the country, from Cornwall and the Forest of Dean to Glasgow, Stroud, Buckinghamshire, Milton Keynes. So 50 Black perspectives on Black Lives Matter from across the country. And the most interesting part of that was hearing from people who lived in very white parts of the country, talking about anti-racism and the protests that they had. So I think one of the people was from Stroud in Gloucestershire, which is very white and English, and yet they still managed to organise around the murder of George Floyd and anti-racism in general. And now I've heard that there's now a group called Stroud Against Racism, and they're a political. I think they've organised a political party as well called Stroud Against Racism. So that's one of the things to come out of the anti-racism protest last year. So I was interviewed for that, and I was also interviewed 3 more times, I think, or 2 more times after that by the Guardian on some of the articles they did since on anti-racism. I write my own blog on Medium, which is so you go to medium.com and you see all sorts of articles in there from different people. But if you type my name in, so Trey Ventor, you'll find my account on there, and you'll find the stuff I've written. I wrote an article for the higher education blog, Wonky, so WONK then HE. They're trying to be clever with their title there. So Wonky, and that was last year on decolonizing English literature and creative writing. I wrote a blog on that. I wrote a blog for diverse educators on decolonization of the curriculum as well. I think that was this year. And I wrote 2 articles for the Chronicle and Echo actually this year as well. One of them was on decolonizing the curriculum, and the other one was on dyspraxia. But yes, I've written quite a number of articles, and hopefully I'll have a book chapter being published this year in the summer, with my master's course on diversity and inclusion, namely, and how diversity doesn't mean. I don't think it means anything really. I think people get lost in trying to be inclusive when it comes to that, and it doesn't always work, as we have seen with Priti Patel and getting lost in sort of like girl boss politics and that sort of thing. And it doesn't always work when just because someone shares the same identity traits as you, it doesn't mean they will organize in your benefit for your benefit. And I've seen that with women's rights issues. I've seen it with workers' rights. So the number of working class people that voted for the Conservative Party, for example, at the last election. And I've seen it recently with anti-racism and people of color, who basically are saying, who basically in the government are saying institutional racism doesn't exist, and we've gone back 20 years in anti-racist organising with that one report by that one guy, Tony Sewell. So yeah, that's basically what the chapter's about. So diversity doesn't really work unless there's diversity of thought, and often people that look like us don't always act in our interest, whether we're talking women's rights, anti-racism, LGBT rights. So yeah, that's basically what it's about, and hopefully it'll get published soon. So then I can share it with all of you, and then you can tell me what you think, and if I'm wrong or not, essentially. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, it sounds to me that you're right, Trey.
Yeah.
So. I'm reliably informed on the chat that your piece of writing about protesting was in issue 11. So now we know.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Trey, tell us about your Can You Poet events.
Yeah, so the last one I did, so Can You Poet is a brand of poetry event which focuses on social and political issues, and namely giving poets and writers a chance there to talk about those issues. Normally there's a theme of each event, and the last one we did was on white supremacy. Because I thought when it comes to anti-racism, it's possible to read about racism and not see whiteness or white supremacy mentioned at all in that conversation. And since the murder of George Floyd, it has been mentioned, but not to the level I would have liked, because racism is the end outcome. White supremacy is what does the doing of that, what creates that racism. So that poetry event had a number of acts from across the country critiquing whiteness and white supremacy, and I hosted it and talked in between the acts about the different elements of whiteness as well. And it wasn't just about white racism against people of color, but also white racisms against white people, but not for being white. And so one of the examples I did use was anti-Irishness. So anti-Irish racism was an example where Irish people were not attacked for being white, but for being Irish. And that was from the days of the British Empire, essentially. So it wasn't their whiteness being attacked, it was their Irishness. And within that, you can sort of see hierarchies of whiteness, and how even today we see that in Northampton with how Irish traveller communities are treated, how Eastern European people are treated, because it's not their whiteness being attacked as Polish people, for example, it's anti-Polishness or anti-Eastern European discrimination, and it's that cultural othering that happens between white people and people who are then not white enough. So then in that event, that's one of the things we talked about. And also whiteness within the working classes as well. So I think many of us, when we were growing up, would have heard things like the working classes are dirty and that sort of thing. And when it comes to how the working classes were treated by the middle classes are often described synonymous with terms like clean, and working class bodies are dirty, essentially. And when we read Oliver Twist and those sorts of books and see how the working classes are depicted as dirty and doing lower class jobs and that sort of thing, and then Oliver at the end of the book, spoiler alert, he goes to live with his rich grandfather, and he sort of becomes white in doing that. So working class people, white working class people, and are white, but they're not white in comparison to the middle class people. So there's that social mobility between becoming from working class to middle classes that needs to be discussed as well, because there's sort of a hierarchy there, and there's cutting and there's splitting, and there's white minority groups that they're white, but they're not as white as the rich white people, essentially. And that's how white supremacy operates, because they'll get the working class people to discriminate against people of color, but then they'll keep themselves distanced from the working class people themselves. So there's a social distance there. Ironically, that term, social distancing. But there's also a physical distance that they try to maintain. So they'd get them to discriminate against people of color, but then they also need them to discriminate against people of color to keep everyone divided. But at the same time, they're white, but they're not white enough. But if anyone wants to know about this, you can just watch the poetry event, which has been recorded anyway. So if you type into YouTube, it's Can You Poet Whiteness Walks Into a Bar, and you should find it. It's nearly 3 hours long, so just dip into it when you can. But yeah, that's basically what the poetry event was about. White supremacy, and a lot of things that would entail, essentially. But yeah. Does that explain? Is that enough, Laura, on that one? Because I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's
pages.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Thank you, Trey. And you will be doing more Can You Poet events coming up, so keep an eye out for Trey. What's the best social media to get you on?
Well, if you go into if you type Trey Ventor into Twitter or Instagram, you should find my personal pages. But then if you type in Trey Ventor Ed, you'll find my work pages on Twitter and Instagram as well, and on Facebook too. So either one of those is good.
Cool. So, and we've had on the chat, big love for Trey, loving this launch, and also big love for Billy too. Those line drawings are so good. Got one hung up at home, as in
Thanks,
he lives with me. So yes, we have one hung up at home.
Keep it coming. I need a haircut.
Thanks for that, Aaron. Billy, let's just do a quick change of pace here and talk about your you teach swimming. Tell us about that.
Well, funnily enough, I literally just finished teaching swimming and then came onto this live stream. So I've been a swimming teacher now for nearly 8 years. I know I'm getting old. You can see the winkles. Ugh. But I was a swimmer growing up as a kid. I got into competitive and regional swimming. Oh, you look gorgeous. You look fine. Stunning. But I used to be a competitive swimmer myself, undefeated. And then it just happened that the club was saying, oh, you know, we're looking for more teachers. If we trained you, would you do it? And I was like, yeah, piece of cake. Come on. It's not a piece of cake. I don't know if you've ever tried to teach a child 4 years old to swim. It's not easy, but it's fun. And that was kind of how I got into it. I went from swimmer to master. I'm like a sensei. I'm the sensei of swimming. God, I sound so narcissistic.
And you also do a bit of drag as well on the side, so we might as well mention that.
Oh yeah, so obviously not so much at the moment because hello, but I do also perform in nightclubs. So I've got a video. I've created a trailer of Billy, and it's just like an amalgamation of all the shows and bits and bobs that I've done. I've performed at the Uni of Northampton. That was memorable. I grabbed a pint of beer, not planned, and poured it all over me. That was quite fun. I broke a wet floor sign, which was because of the pint of beer. You can see where it's going. But yeah, I just have loads of fun on stage. I'm a bit of a weirdo, and normal's boring. Have fun. You only live once. YOLO! But yeah, if anybody is interested, my drag name is Gaga for Christie. But if you want to find out anything, then Instagram, it's Billy Little. How gorgeous. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. But yeah, if you ever want to find out any more, just follow me on Instagram. It's all on there. I don't really do Facebook. Facebook's for champs. But yeah. And breathe.
You are hilarious, Billy. I'm just glad that we've got through almost an hour and nobody's sworn, so that's really good. So thank you for that. And actually, Trey and Billy, you are both going to be guests on an upcoming podcast series with Delapre Abbey. So I've been working with them on a series about wellbeing, and you both have your own episodes, which is going to be really fun. So watch out for the Delapre Abbey podcast series coming soon. Thank you both. I'm just gonna wrap it up here because I feel like we've got everything that we've squeezed all of your goodness from you. And thank you so much for coming in and talking and letting us know about you and contributing to this amazing zine, which is out now. I'm really grateful for you both and for Bing coming along. I will share afterwards. I'll share all of your socials and stuff so people know where to find you. And I just wanted to say it's our 3rd birthday today. We're 3. So I'm really excited. I didn't actually think that I know. If only I was really 3 in real life, but I'm not. But I didn't think that we'd get to 3 years, and we have done so with lots of thanks and gratitude to all of the 160 people who have contributed to the Happy Hood so far, to the National Lottery Community Fund, to the Northampton Borough Council, thanks to Northampton Community Foundation, and to all of the readers, everybody who has bought a copy, as well as all of our stockists, and we've got a long list of them. If you want to know anything else about the Happy Hood, go to thehappyhood.com or come and follow us on social media. And please support all of our contributors because they're all amazing, and they're just all great. They're just all fantastic. Thank you, Trey, and thank you, Billy. Have a lovely afternoon. I'm gonna go and drink my cheap prosecco because I'm classy. And eat a piece of cake, and hope that in July, when we launch issue 14, that we can do a big face-to-face event. So fingers crossed. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for everyone for watching, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.